Back, everybody. We are the Honolulu Blues Boys hosting the Honolulu Blues Show. And oh, yeah, not one, but two Lions flags
Oh,
today. Sorry,
poor
Julius.
Julius.
Yours is in the mail. It's coming.
Oh.
It's coming. Julius
Just waiting
will
on
have
it.
his flag next week. We're going to get mail out to him. Unfortunately, Julius, they don't come with a stick. So I'm not sure if my mom's planning on sending you a stick too, but if not,
Hey, listen, I can get a stick on there, man. I'll tape it. I'll tape it to a stick. I don't care. I'll get it on there.
I love that our mini pennant is making its rounds, and we're all about to just start our show with the mini pennant. That is amazing. I love
tradition, baby. It's about to be tradition.
Hey, man, it's only a matter of time till this goes this.
Oh, and it's hanging in the rafters.
Start hanging them.
The Kool-Aid is knee high already.
I cannot wait for it to be fucking
honestly
amazing.
though, real quick, as a fan, how cool would it be, since Lions fans haven't really experienced the most conference championship wins or success, I guess. What if we start hanging our own mini banners, put it in the man cave, a little Detroit Lions, NFC North champs, 2023.
We're gonna have too many banners in a couple years. We're gonna have too many of them. Beat Green Bay twice. I don't know.
That's true. And yes, we are kind of notorious for all those little silly banners that circle the meme realm. With
our ex-quarterback won a Super Bowl. Put the banner up, baby.
Put the banner up. Oh, God, I love it. But we got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to get into all of it, including Lamar Jackson, including some of the linebackers that have been released. And, of course, we'll be talking about the Lions free agents that need to be coming back. But first, let's talk a little Lions news and notes. Not a whole lot, but there was a little bit. We did release our full coaching staff, so that is out. If you want to check out who the ins and outs are, linebacker coach, wide receivers coach, all that good stuff is on the Detroit Lions page. You can check it out there. The Lions also announced that they're likely going to be getting new helmets this year, but new jerseys are going to be coming next year. So you guys got, there was my phone, but you guys got any, thoughts or designs on, what maybe a new helmet or jersey would look like?
I would think that it's very similar to our retro jerseys. It would be a big throwback. Everything is vintage these days. Whatever was around in the 60s and the 70s, that's what's cool now. You know what I mean? It's how life always is. Everything that's old after about 20, 30 years, a couple decades, it comes back to be cool again. Except for probably 80s hairstyle. I don't know if that'll ever come back again. But I think it would be very similar to that. I would like the black jersey, but I don't care. I want a super retro jersey, but a little bit more modern than what we got in the 2000s, where it was all silver and all blue. I want just a nice mix in between that.
I like
so
it.
You're talking 90s. You're talking 90s Lions jerseys, because that's when the Lions were cool, when they had Barry Sanders. They wasn't cool in the 60s and 70s and not really the 80s, Billy Sims, yeah. But when they had Barry and they had Chris Spellman on defense, that's when the Lions were cool. Early 90s retro look, mix it in with the modern look. And I've seen some designs online. I mean, it would just be sick.
And honestly, the Lions have a great opportunity here in which we are, if we have a good season, we win a playoff game, we're going to have bandwagon fans galore. And what do, bandwagon fans and all fans love? Some slick, crisp-looking jerseys. So if we could roll out some sort of, crisp, clean-looking, nice Detroit Lions, nothing, crazy. I don't want to see any, light gray. I know some people like it, but it's a little out there. But...
And like Julius said, what better do they want except for that nostalgic? Somewhere when they're like, man, this was when the Lions were cool, before. They haven't been cool since. Joey Harrington, freaking all this, losing. No one cares about them. They weren't cool. They were never cooler than they were in 1991. If we bring that jersey back, then everyone's exactly right. Everyone will buy it more. It's because that's when we were awesome. Yep, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be.
Yes. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait for 2024 for the jerseys, but the helmets, that could be interesting. Hopefully, like I said, just something simple. But Nick, if we had to go with some sort of, alternate all black or all white? What are you looking for?
I would take the all white over the all black. And I don't know. All black would be so slick. It would be so slick. I get that. Like murdered out.
It almost depends on the black and white colors, because
I just think back to like our original black and it was so bulky and just not that cool. And if we could make it so it was like the Saints, like when the Saints were all black, it looked so cool. And when they were doing it in 2008, it was really cool. 2009. I think that trend is past. Give me the all white now. I want full sleek white, and I want to see the grass stains on the jersey when it's done. I don't want that jersey to look just as fresh as it did when you started the game, and like it does in all black. Like in all white, you can see the freaking grit. You can see the villainous in the Lions, and that's what I want. So give me the all white. It looks fresh to start, and it looks badass to end.
Love it. Julius, any thoughts on our helmets?
I'm with Nick. Give me the all white. When I think of the all white and I think of those dirty grass stains, I think of Jamal Williams talking about all the dog that's in them, the dog that was in the Lions. They tried to play the Lions. Don't let these tears fool you. That's what I think about when I think of all white jerseys with grass stains. And I love the all whites. I really do. And I hope they keep them. And, with the helmet, a black helmet was never a part of the Lions tradition wise or really, so I'm not really all about the black helmet like that.
I like it. The Lions also did make a splash in, I don't even want to call it free agency, re-signing, whatever you want to call it. But we did bring back offensive lineman Ross Piercebacher, not sure how you pronounce it, but offensive lineman depth can't hurt. Never. Finally, though, the last piece of news that I'm going to get to is some interesting stuff here. Per Bet Online, I know the top sports book out there, they have the Detroit Lions listed as the number one odds to land Lamar Jackson at 3-1. And this goes off of a couple other teams have, I believe the next best team is the Bucs with 9-2. So they're very similar. It's not like the Lions have like a far and away gap. There are a couple teams that are 4-1, 5-1. So it's not too big of a gap, but this is the only site that has odds for Lamar Jackson landing spot. And they did put the Lions at their number one spot. So money is involved. So it's not like it's a joke. They're just putting it out there for clicks or whatever. So Nick, I'm going to shoot it to you first. Lamar Jackson.
Actually, I want to ping pong that. I want Julius to answer this question first.
Okay. All right. Julius, we know Lamar Jackson got the transition tag. It's looking like if a team wants to get him, they're going to have to throw an offer out there. And if the Ravens don't like it, that team will have to give up 2 first-round picks, their own first-round picks of this year and next year, and obviously sign Lamar Jackson to the offer they offered him. So, thoughts?
I don't think the Lions should be dipping their hands in this. It's going to cost them too much. Either it's going to cost them a bunch of guaranteed money that will pretty much tie down our young and rising team for the next however many years, or it's going to cost us multiple first-round picks, which we've been counting on ever since we traded Matthew Stafford to continue to rebuild our team. So I'm not with it. I'm not really with it unless it's at a cheaper cost than what's being reported. And I think this is the Ravens' mess to get through. They tagged him. I don't think any team's gonna bite at that offer. I think that the Ravens, he's gonna be back with the Ravens next year, and this thing is gonna play itself over again next offseason. Because I don't think any team is willing to go the Deshaun Watson route on Lamar Jackson right now, and I'm certainly not willing, just based off everything the Lions would have to give up.
Yeah, Adam, you're muted. That's just a daily routine.
I love it.
It's a weekly routine.
It's tradition, baby.
Nick, I know you're kind of anti-Lamar. Is there any
absolutely I'm anti-Lamar?
Any circumstance where you would want Lamar?
No, Lamar Jackson is not a quarterback that I believe in. Okay. I also don't think that he is the good fit for the Lions. I think we could win with him. I think we could win with Lamar. I'm not just going to sit here and be like, Lamar Jackson is terrible and we'll never win with him. Yeah, we probably would win more games with Lamar Jackson than we ever have in the last 70 years. That's not to be said, in my opinion. We just need, though, a system quarterback, which Jared Goff is exactly what we need. All right. There's bigger. I think Jared Goff can get us as many playoff wins as Lamar Jackson and can get us closer to a Super Bowl than Lamar Jackson. And the reason I say that is Lamar Jackson hasn't proven it, and maybe it's money, and maybe it is bad coaching in Baltimore, and in the last 3 years, Lamar Jackson hasn't been that unanimous MVP that we saw in 2019, right? 2018, 2019. It's a different Lamar Jackson, and unfortunately, this Lamar Jackson isn't going to be the guy that's going to take Detroit to the next level. There are other guys that we're about to bring up that could be that. Jared Goff was a top 3 quarterback last year, especially in smarts. He has the longest running streak of passes thrown without an interception in the NFL right now. He led us to the 3rd most yards in the entire NFL. Nope, we didn't win. We didn't win 10 games. We didn't make it to the playoffs. Is Jared Goff the best quarterback in the league? Nope. Is he the best quarterback for the Detroit Lions? Maybe not. But I'm not going to give up 2 firsts for Lamar when I can just trade up and get Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, who all have potential to be as good, if not better, than Lamar Jackson. And we're getting them at a cheaper rate. And we're getting them with less wear and tear on their body. Lamar Jackson, to me, moves no needles. And I had this conversation so many times over and over again today at work with many friends. And I just cannot get. Now, listen, if we go get Lamar Jackson, I'll be freaking excited and I'll be elated and I'll talk nothing but good about him. But if I was Brad Holmes, and that's what this topic I think comes down to, I would not make I wouldn't even reach out. I'm not going to do all of Baltimore's work and set up all this contract just to have Baltimore match him or anything like that. Like Lamar Jackson's staying in Baltimore, and Detroit Lions shouldn't even be in our thought process, in my opinion.
See, that's interesting. Both you guys have the belief that Lamar Jackson is going to be staying in Baltimore. But for me, I'm pretty confident that they have broken this bridge. I think Lamar, with him not having an agent and the Ravens kind of just like doing it business style and not, adjusting to his style, because it is different when you're negotiating your own. And I think it's caused a little tension. And this transition tag was like, all right, go see what you could get. Adam Schefter put out a great video of kind of just him explaining the whole situation of the Ravens basically said, you go test the market. Let's see what you're worth. And, if you could get, a solid, contract offer, then take it and so be it. And we'll get our 2 firsts, win-win. But if not, then you'll be proving our point that you're not worth as much as you think you are. And all these other GMs are agreeing with us. But the Lions are in a kind of unique circumstance where we're in the NFC, have a weak conference conference and division, honestly, where Aaron Rodgers is probably on his way out. Kirk Cousins poses no threat. Justin Fields is just a mystery who can run. And that's it, I guess, for the North. And so if we bring in Lamar Jackson, the guy who's been dealing with Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, these elite, weapons in the AFC, and granted, he's not playing them all every year. He has played them quite a bit in, just big games, playoffs or what. And granted, he hasn't had the best success in those. But if you give Lamar Jackson, Ben Johnson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and our boys Swift and Jamal Williams, I can't imagine that he stays as, this quarterback that, we think is good, but isn't as much of an upgrade as, Goff would be. So for me, I'm all in on Lamar. I think he will be able to take us to playoffs immediately. I think we would make a Super Bowl contenders immediately. Some people will say, well, we already are. Vegas kind of considers it. I would say Super Bowl contenders, probably top 5 teams. Lions are set at like 7, 8, depending on what book you're looking at. So they're right on the cusp. But all in all, they're not getting the number 6 overall pick. It would be pick 18 and next year's pick, which could very well be pick 32 if we go in the Super Bowl. Now, it's probably not going to be, but
it probably will be.
If Lamar Jackson, comes here, it's hard for me to not believe that he wouldn't win a playoff game right off the bat. So, playoff game, you're looking at 2, 18 and pick, 20, mid-20s, and just to sign Lamar after we just saw Geno Smith, Derek Carr, and Danny Dimes, and we know if Goff wins a playoff game, he's going to ask for the exact same, maybe a few million less than what Lamar asked for. And if we're at that point, it's just I know what Goff is, but I feel like there's just one more step in Lamar.
We haven't seen that though in so long. He's just been injured so much. Why would we just think he would become our QB1 and RB1? That's what would happen. And if he goes down, we lose two main positions off of it. To me, it's Jared Goff has done I've sat here and bashed Goff for years. And honestly, he's done enough to prove to me, which is exactly what I said would happen at the beginning of offseason last year, is we would be good enough, not make the playoffs, but good enough for us to keep Goff. And then we'd be sitting here this year, which I'm doing myself. I literally foreshadowed my own conversation because now Goff has done enough for me to believe upgrading from Jared Goff to Lamar Jackson is not as vital as it would be to add that first round pick this year and that first round pick next year, and paying Goff. And honestly, this is it. If Goff finishes this year better than Lamar Jackson like he did last year, Goff is a better quarterback. And right now, I would state my well-being on the idea that Goff finishes and has a better year than Lamar Jackson. And I would bet that Jared Goff does better with the Detroit Lions knowing this system than Lamar Jackson would do this year. And we are in a win right fucking now mentality. And that's why I want another guy we were talking about, we might talk about, is Derrick Henry. Because that guy has 2 years left. He has 2 fucking years left, and he is an anomaly. He will get 1,500 yards this year. I don't care if he's running behind the Titans offensive line, and especially if he's running behind the Lions offensive line. He will get 1,500 yards. He can catch the ball. He would push us to elite status for this year and next year. And we would be selling out. If we could trade to get him and trade to get Ramsey, we would sell out very similar to what the Rams just did. And we would be following suit with them, which maybe not everyone wants to do. We want to win for years and years and years and not just be a one-hit wonder. But honestly, I would take the one-hit wonder. And Derrick Henry behind our offensive line would be absurd. It would be grotesque. It would be unfathomable, along with you having to stack the box for Derrick Henry and Jameson Williams being able to run past everyone. It couldn't be a better situation, in my opinion. Trade Swift in the deal, get Henry, and run it out for 2 years. I'm just saying that and Ramsey. Those are the 2 big trades I want. Lamar Jackson isn't even in my bubble.
I know you're getting ready to jump in, Julius, but real quick before you do, I'm going to throw a little spin zone question to you. You can decide if you want to touch on it. One thing about Jared Goff is his extension ability and his 3rd down and 4th down. I know we saw it go up and he played a lot better the last, 7, 8, 9 games. But, boys, don't tell me you can't remember Jared Goff throwing the ball away on 4th down. Lamar Jackson scrambles for that 1st down 10 times out of 10. And we know the stats, the Justin Fields stat. I forget what they said, but when we were playing the Bears, it was something like Justin Fields had converted 19 of 21 first down or on 3rd downs running the ball. So that aspect, I think, just gives you, a whole nother little dynamic of running the ball. Now, Nick, you made a great point. If we want to run a quarterback, just, go get Anthony Richardson. It's not too hard. We're at pick 6. So I'm on either or fence. I would like Lamar or Anthony Richardson. So if we don't get Lamar, I'm okay, going with Anthony Richardson. But we'll get into that combine talk and, that later. Ultimately, to get into Derrick Henry, actually, Julius, touch on Jared Goff a bit. And do you think, that I guess the other thing I was going to mention was his turnover, not rate, and I know I'm all over the place with this, but he had 2 games last year against the Eagles and the Seahawks where we lost by 1 score and Jared Goff threw a pick 6 in that game. Now, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson, wouldn't throw that pick 6 or wouldn't, fumble the ball where Kayvon Thibodeau strips it from him because it happened. But I saw it happen twice in one season. And if we get one of those wins, if one pick six isn't thrown, Lions could very, very, very well have, walked in the playoffs as a wild card. So ultimately, I get Goff has been very safe, but there's just a couple moments I can remember back in, early on when he wasn't, doing very well, where it was looking like this isn't our guy for the future. We need to look elsewhere.
I mean, Jared Goff, this is what he has over Lamar Jackson and everybody else. He has continuity with Ben Johnson. So what we have to give up for Lamar and change for Lamar and the media hype, and it's just not worth it to the Lions. You know what I'm saying? Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. I like the idea of Derrick Henry. I like the idea of Derrick Henry and Jamal together. You know what I'm saying? Or I also like the idea of Jalen Ramsey. I like the idea of all these players. Bobby Wagner. I just can't get on with the guy like Lamar Jackson right now. I just can't. Jared Goff, though. Jared Goff should be our quarterback next year. So
I get it. Yeah, the one thing I will say is the chemistry. I do not want to break up that Goff-Ben Johnson chemistry where it seemed to be at the end of the season. It was peaking like crazy. So, yes, I get there could be an aspect of that. But to dive into our next trade suitor, possibly, Derrick Henry, Nick, we read for the show. I said to you, I was like, can you believe all these Lions fans that want to trade for old man Derrick Henry? And you go, well, I'm one of them, baby. So you made it clear you want Derrick Henry, but I'm going to throw it out there and say, I don't want him. He's 29 years old. He has only 130 carries less than Ezekiel Elliott. We saw what happened to Ezekiel Elliott. He's been ran into the ground. The only reason Derrick Henry got 1,500 yards this year is because he had 349 attempts, most in the NFL, and averaged 4.4 per carry on that. Jamal Williams averaged 4.1. So I know your circumstance, we would still bring back Jamal, but Jamal, he had 18 touchdowns too. He kind of proved that he was enough. And then if you look back to 2021, when he got injured, he averaged 4.3 per carry. And it's not until 2020 where he averaged more than 5 yards per carry. So he is starting to trend down. And I know Derrick Henry is a freak of nature. He's an Adrian Peterson, Calvin Johnson-esque, type player where this dude could play till he's 32 and it wouldn't shock me. But I've just seen enough running backs that have just been ran into the ground where if they don't break off that huge run, which Derrick Henry can do, it's a bust tough game for him. And it's looking like that if Derrick Henry doesn't get, 340 carries, he's not going to be as valuable. And if we bring back Jamal or decide to keep Swift and let Jamal walk, I just don't think that the two could work. I know it would split up the carries a bit, but to get Derrick Henry's best, I feel like you just need to give him the full bulk. So, Julius, I will let you touch in on this. Are you team Derrick Henry or team non-Derrick Henry? And if so, what's your bottom dollar you'd like to trade for him? Because it would be exciting. I will say that.
It's a hard question because, it's a running back we're talking about. And I just don't value running backs the same way as I do other positions. Like if we're talking about Devontae Adams or something, that's different. But with a running back, Derrick Henry aging, what would it cost? I do a second round pick, I do a second round pick, but I can't do a first.
I will say, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of people are throwing out there. I'd trade a second round pick. I'd trade second and third. We just saw CMC, who I believe is 2 years, maybe 3 years, 2 years, I think. He's 27. 2 years younger than Derrick Henry and, equal skill set, just kind of different type player. And he went for, I think, like a second, third, and fifth or something like that. So for a 29-year-old Derrick Henry, I honestly feel like we could get him for like a third or fourth rounder if we took on his contract. We saw the Titans, they cut Rob Woods, they cut Taylor Lewan, and they cut someone else, but it was all due to cap casualties. They need the money. So if they're trying to save the money and, the Lions got him for, depending what third round is, I know we have a couple, but third, fourth, or fifth, I wouldn't be opposed. But for a second round, I know we do like it's impossible to the second round pick as a Lions, so it would make sense to trade that pick. But for me, I don't know. I can't do it for a 29-year-old running back. But Nick, you're going to make the great point of this all in for this year. And if we're going all in for this year, Derrick Henry fits the bill because we all know he's probably got one more, maybe two. And then if he gets through two, who knows? Because that'll have proven, he could get 5 more. So back to you, Nick.
I still think he can put up 2,000 yards. He's the best running back in the NFL. Maybe Christian McCaffrey. It's the best 2 running backs. There's no way Derrick Henry doesn't come to Detroit with our offensive line with the way Jamal Williams, who had never run like Jamal Williams ran last year. No, I don't think Jamal Williams found the super serum. No, I do not think Jamal Williams just woke up one day and was like, dang, I feel really good this year. I think I'm going to rush for Barry Sanders breaking amount of touchdowns. So let's do that this year. No, it is because of what Ben Johnson can do. It is because of what Ben Johnson and Frank Haley and how the players execute what is being coached to them, how they've all bought in. Derrick Henry would go crazy behind our offensive line. It would be nuts. Yeah, maybe we have to feed him a little bit more. I don't think we have a problem feeding the ball to our running backs. We do that quite often. In fact, the more we can take the ball out of Jared Goff's hand, I was just saying I like, but the fact is the more you can take it out of his hand and allow him just to be himself in non-pressured situations, it's the better. Okay? DeAndre Swift is a great running back, but he has no consistency. He is not made out of metal. He is made out of glass. Jamal Williams is outstanding. But Jamal Williams, do we expect that again? There is going to be a huge regression. That will happen. That happens in the NFL. God, I hope not, but it will. Understand that. Do I think Derrick Henry fits our rebuild and our long-term plan and what Brad Holmes is actually building? No, God, no. That is the completely opposite of what he's done for the last few years. There is no way that we actually make that trade, but I personally would love it. Then let's trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Then let's trade for Jalen Ramsey. And then let's trade for Lamar Jackson. Sure, fuck it. Why not? I would love Derrick Henry, and I think he would be amazing in Detroit. I truly, truly, truly do think that Derrick Henry could make us win playoff games just as much as Lamar Jackson could. I truly do think that. But no, there's no way in hell Brad Holmes will actually make that. That's just like a Madden trade that I would love to see go down because I think it would be amazing.
Here's the whole thing at the end of the day. If Brad Holmes, whatever he approves, if it's Lamar Jackson, if it's Jalen Ramsey, if it's Derrick Henry, we are all going because that means they got the Brad Holmes stamp of approval. And when you get that stamp of approval, you got something. You got that it factor. So,
and out of that it factor, 30 interviews at the combine, and only 4 guys had the it factor per Dan Campbell. They are looking for something in particular, and we think we know it, and it's that grit, and it's that will to win, and we don't know what they consider that it factor. But my God, did Rodrigo have it? My God, did Kirby have it? My God, did Penne and Amon-Ra and every single Hutchinson, everyone we've drafted has had that it factor. They are so good at finding whatever it is they're looking for. You know what I mean? And that's why you're right. At whatever they trade, and hopefully it's the number 1 guy on my board, which is Jalen Ramsey, who I do think we could trade many things for.
Yes, and Jalen Ramsey, I think we are all in agreement, is the one, a trade suitor that we would probably prefer the most. I do prefer Jalen Ramsey over Lamar, over pretty much anyone. I think a veteran cornerback with just that demeanor, that, win mentality mindset. I don't know if you guys saw the video he posted. It was all his highlights with an Allen Iverson clip over it, and it was just like, what I'm going to bring is like winning. It was just such a cool hype video. And I'm like, this is who Jalen Ramsey is. Where he goes, he wins. And I truly think it's like the Lions are there. It's just who's going to be the first to say it. Is it going to be a big name player that comes there? Is it going to be, ESPN saying, the Lions are our number 3 team in the NFL? Who is going to be the first to dub the Lions as a legit, team? And granted, Jalen Ramsey can't make this trade himself, but Brad Holmes has great ties with the Rams, and if he really wants Jalen Ramsey, I'm pretty confident he could get Jalen Ramsey. So, all in all, would you guys be okay with giving pick 18 straight up? That's it for Jalen Ramsey.
Yes. Yep, I give it up right now. Jalen Ramsey, he seems to have the it factor that you guys were just talking about. Derrick Henry, I'm not sure if he does, but he's such a force of nature physically that I can see Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes being like, okay, just come on anyway.
Just come on.
Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure if he does, but Jalen Ramsey, I'm almost for certain he has that it factor they're looking for, and his ties to the Ram. Pick number 18 for the best cornerback in football, other than Sauce Gardner last season. I'll do it.
We don't say the name Sauce Gardner on here. That's the name that doesn't get mentioned on the show. That cornerback from New York. That's what we refer to him.
Native.
Damn it. You're right. And I like him for that. But damn it, I hate him.
I just wish he went to like Eastern Michigan or something. Why Cincinnati? Like that, come on.
Cincinnati was one of the few D1 schools.
No Michigan schools offered him. That's why he went to Cincinnati, is because like Michigan State, all of them were just like, nah. So
Hutchinson should have won Rookie of the Year.
He's my Rookie of the Year. In his Rookie of the Year speech, he thanked Detroit first.
Which is cool. I wish we would have had Sauce and Hutch. That'd be awesome. Okay. Jalen Ramsey is absolutely the number one guy we have to go after. Adam, you said it exactly right. Wherever you are that way. Brad Holmes has the ties. He has the ties with Los Angeles. That is the team that we can trade for that won't, I'm not going to say fleece us by any means, but like make it harder than it should to trade. Jalen Ramsey in Detroit. Perfect. That's it. Can you imagine Jalen Ramsey just covering the number one wide receiver and Jeff Okudah and being number two?
And just learning from him too.
Learning from him. Like, that's what we need. That's what we want. That's what we need. That's what we're looking for. That's what we hope Devin Witherspoon is, Christian Gonzalez is, Joey Porter Jr. is. That is what we hope we sign in free agency. That is what we want. We want Jalen Ramsey. Go get Jalen Ramsey. Go get him. 18th pick, have it. Take it. Go get your Bijan Robinson. I don't care. Give me Jalen Ramsey. I need it. That would lift our defense, which we all, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think personally is our biggest problem, our secondary, which isn't a huge problem, but it is our biggest problem. And the linebacker situation can be argued, but realistically, if you have the defensive front that we have and a secondary that we have with Kirby and Tracy, and you add Jalen Ramsey, that makes your linebackers better. Your linebackers are not pressured to do as much, and you have help in behind you. You have help in front of you. That helps everything. Jalen Ramsey makes this team a 12-win team.
Agreed.
Then you have the addition of possibly Jalen Carter at 6. That makes this team a 14-team win, or 14-win team. Excuse me.
Honestly, and yeah, Nick, you're saying all the right things. Jalen Ramsey, makes linebackers better. He's going to make the defensive line better. With Hutch will have an extra half second to second because that first read is locked down. And when the quarterback has to go to second read, it's either locked down or, covered tightly by Jerry Jacobs or Jeff Okudah. So
could you imagine, like, Jeff Okudah did pretty damn good on like Justin Jefferson, pretty damn good on DK Metcalf. Let up a couple bad catches, but did pretty damn good all game long. He is very good against the number ones. Can you imagine Ramsey on Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne against freaking Jeff Okudah? And we don't need to let anyone else have to cover him. Like Jacobs playing the slot. Maybe be crazy and get Brian Branch to play the slot. I don't know. There's a lot of fun things we can do. Christian, we can still get Ramsey and draft Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr., whatever corner.
I got a funky stat for you guys real quick about Jalen Ramsey. You mentioned that he'll give the defense, he'll make the linebackers better and give the defensive linemen more time to get to the quarterback. He led the NFL in, I didn't even know they tracked this, coverage sacks forced. He had 12 coverage sacks forced where his read was the primary target, and he locked that target down, thus leading to a sack in the next second or two.
And the Rams did not have a great pass rush last year. Can you imagine that with
Houston, James Houston and Aiden Hutchinson with
Well, why it worked so well is what the Rams do. They trade for Ramsey, and then I think
Aaron Donald.
they went to the playoffs, and then it was that next year they won the Super Bowl. It wasn't the year they traded for. Yeah, next year they won the Super Bowl. And then, yes, they had Aaron Donald. They had Von Miller. They had elite pass rushers. And now, maybe we don't have our Aaron Donald, but we got our Ali McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson. We got legit defensive.
We could get Jalen Carter, who could be a next Aaron Donald.
That's a very great point.
There's a very strong possibility he falls to 6, not because of what happened. There's a chance we don't even take him at 6 because of what happened. But there's just a chance he falls to 6 because of all the quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and Bryce Young all will be top 5 picks. That leaves Will Anderson and Jalen Carter until it gets to us. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And then finally, another reason why I want Jalen Ramsey so much is because he's made himself known in the NFL that he's got that swagger. He's got that dog mentality. He's got that recruitment mentality. I can guarantee you OBJ is going to be picking up the phone and saying, yo, man, should I come to Detroit too? And I know you guys might not want OBJ, but
calm down, Adam. God damn it.
He's got the connection.
Calvin Johnson, are you coming back? Come on.
Hey, you mean to tell me DJ Chark leaves, you wouldn't take OBJ?
No.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I am not bringing OBJ.
Oh, no. Now, if Jalen Ramsey said,
that's like bringing Des Bryant on your team.
Jalen Ramsey said the only way I'm coming is with OBJ.
Oh, yeah, OBJ, you can be number 1 wide receiver.
Bring OBJ.
Or better,
bring him home, baby. Bring his crazy ass. But
better
that we're getting thrown off of planes and shit like that because he's like.
If we have a choice, OBJ should not be on our football team.
No, OBJ probably shouldn't be on an NFL team anymore, and
he's
looking at podcasting.
Okay, I'll throw a different Rams player at you. Calls up Bobby
Wagner. Yeah,
hey, Bobby. Where do you want to play? Things are looking like I'm headed to Detroit.
Cooper Kupp. No, I'm just
Bobby and Jalen together.
Yeah.
Bobby
Wagner was an all-pro last year.
I'll throw another name out there. You guys might not like him, but Rob Woods. He's, if we lose Chark.
We're trying to get these like crazy-ass 39-year-old wide receivers.
Number 3. Adam. I'm not looking for him to be
the Lions interviewed Quentin Johnston at the Combine. We ain't looking for no veteran. We about to draft a wide receiver in the first round, and everyone's going to be like, Brad, what are you doing? And
we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
Real quick, this is crazy.
If we trade back, I bet we draft Johnston. If we trade back from 6, if we trade back from 6 to like anywhere between 9 and 12, we'll draft Johnston. I'll bet.
Quick side note: it's going to be insane how many like Detroit fans, Detroit media will just agree with what Brad Holmes does, no matter what it is, because of his proven track record. And this is something that we haven't seen ever. Maybe?
Brad Holmes could give a peanut butter and jelly sandwich a 6-year contract to play running back, and I'd be like, damn it, that's the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich I've ever seen. It's crunchy on the inside and sweet on the out. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Until he shows different, I trust him, especially when it comes to the draft.
Especially when it comes to the draft.
Free agency kind of, we'll see, but the draft, I'm solidified Brad Holmes already. He could pick, if he pick Anthony Richardson at 6, I'm going to think Anthony Richardson is going to be our next Josh Allen in Detroit in 2 years.
That's exactly right. And that's another reason why, like, if we do something crazy where, Anthony Richardson at 6, trade up for one Bryce Young. Oh, my God.
No quarterbacks can be available at 6, boys. I hate to break this to you. They will all be gone in the top 5. There is no chance. There is no chance.
Think we're going to see another little, Josh
Lions
Allen,
trade up.
Lions could trade up. Now that's a very
Carter or Bryce Young.
Or Will Anderson.
Yeah.
We could trade up because you can't have too many depth players. You cannot have too many defensive edge rushers. You just can't. And if we trade up for Will Anderson to add to James Houston, who seems now he started to play more than just passing downs, but he did kind of primarily play on third downs. That was where James Houston, that's why he had so many sacks, right? That's just kind of what was the nature of it.
Situational, yeah.
If
we add Will Anderson to that, guys.
Could you, Will Anderson slides to Will Anderson or Jalen, like you just said, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter slide to 6, and we trade pick 18 for Jalen Ramsey. Like, how? That's a 12, 13 win team right there.
We won't lose a game. We won't lose a game if that happens. If we trade for Jalen Ramsey and draft Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, we won't lose a game this year. I'll bet any money right now. I'd put $1,000 on it. Easily.
And I will say we got some. I mean, we were tested this year. We played the Eagles, Super Bowl finalist, and the Bills, the Super Bowl, favorite for quite some time. So did beat them, but we have another chance. We play the Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs. I was drawing a blank there. So having Ramsey and another perimeter defender like Will Anderson and Carter, that would just be phenomenal to help us stop Mahomes, because he's going to wreak havoc on us.
The Chiefs released Frank Clark. Would you guys think we should go after him?
He's free agent, so
it depends. A lot of this we talking about the draft depends on free agency coming up next week.
It does, and the free agency is next week.
It's gonna get crazy. It's insane. Yeah. So
if Holmes start going hand with trades and free agent signings, then we kind of know that the draft is
Fuck the draft. I don't even care about the draft. If we do some big signings, we can just draft a backup tight end and backup quarterback and a backup runner. I don't give a fudge muffin, dude. That's kind of wouldn't it be amazing if we just signed some great defensive players, right? A good linebacker, traded for Ramsey, and then we just drafted Quentin Johnston, and then drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the second round, and drafted just these a bunch of offensive players, because we solidified our defense through free agency, and we didn't have to worry about drafting defense or vice versa.
So I'm gonna throw it out there. You mentioned linebackers, Nick. Linebackers probably the juiciest market out there for a veteran presence that's established himself in the past. And we got guys like Bobby Wagner, Levante David, Eric Kendricks, Tremaine Edmonds, and I just lost where I was looking. Tremaine Edmonds and David Long, all pretty solid linebackers. Any of those guys, where you're looking to give 2-year. $15 million, something juicy, and if so, give me a little contract somewhere. What would be reasonable?
I like a lot of linebackers. The money is very nerve-wracking to me. That's kind of one of the big reasons why, I know I just said it would be awesome, but I don't think we do that. I don't think we spend a lot of money in free agency. I believe Brad Holmes has shown his cards, and some people argue it's in the past, no one wanted to come to Detroit. I don't think – I do think that's right, but I don't think that's the reason why Brad Holmes hasn't signed a lot of players, and especially to longer contracts, is I believe Brad Holmes builds to the draft because he, just like Julius and all of us, believe in himself through the draft and understand that we don't need to get these veterans. I don't think we interviewed Trenton Simpson, linebacker, at the combine. We interviewed Noah Sewell. Holy moly, Jesus. the brother of our star right tackle. I can't talk. Get me out of here. Who is a linebacker? I'm saying we will be drafting linebacker. We will not be signing a big name linebacker. Again, I think that's the position that can be helped out most between the secondary and the defensive line, where if you sign a big linebacker or draft an amazing linebacker, it's not going to help your defensive line as much as your defensive line would help your linebacker. And same with the cornerback or secondary position.
I'm curious to know, Brad Holmes, when he was back with the Rams and when the Rams were just, trading all their picks, trying to go all in, was he just stop it, please?
Gritting his teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because he's so good.
I kind of agree with you, Nick. It wouldn't shock me one bit if we didn't make any, big splash, if we maybe signed one, small guy, like a DJ Chark-esque guy. But I think we're going to bring DJ Chark back. So could be the guy. And I think we're going to bring Jamal Williams back. We're going to bring Sean Elliott. I think 95% of the players that Brad Holmes wants to come back will come back. So
wow, I do not think we're going to
lock down the player, the Lions free agents, and like you said, Nick, work through the draft like he does best. Julius, any thoughts on any of these, stud linebackers out here, or are you just, in the same boat as me and Nick, where you kind of believe that we're just going to retain the majority and look to the draft build? But obviously, we got guys like Bobby Wagner, Levante David, Eric Kendricks, Tremaine Edmonds, and David Long that we could go out and grab.
I mean, we saw him sign Anzalone to be the captain of the middle. So it's possible that Brad Holmes might see a guy that has that it factor, like Bobby Wagner or Eric Kendricks. that could be an upgrade over what they got now next to Malcolm Rodriguez. However, this Brad Holmes is a former scout. That's how he got his start, and that's probably why he's so trusting in the draft process. I see this going one or two ways. I see the Lions making trades for like a Jalen Ramsey, maybe signing a Bobby Wagner to go with it, and then pushing everything towards the draft. But I don't see them like going draft free agent crazy, like signing like 2 or 3 big guys like Jacksonville or the New York Jets, the way they've been using their cap money they had. I feel like the Lions, like Brad Holmes, is going to play it smart with the free agency part of it. And I think he's going to sign. I wouldn't say that high of a number of his players. What you said, 95%. I'll say it's more like maybe 60%. Guys like Jamal Williams, John Kaminsky.
Well, guys that want to, or guys that he wants, because there's going to be a few that, Amani O's, the Will
Amani
Harris.
O, his career in the NFL might very well be over. He was one of the worst cornerbacks in the last 3 seasons. He might be in the USFL next season.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Amani's career is over.
Which is crazy, the downfall, because he was decent a couple years ago, and did he lead the league in interceptions, or was top 5, I believe.
Yeah, he was like top 5.
He was behind Trayvon Diggs, but we see Josh Gordon killing it in the XFL right now.
His phenomenal year was 10 years ago. This season, oh my gosh,
it's nuts, and he's still killing.
He's a very talented player. He always has been.
We were talking about players' careers that were cut short and who we would have liked to see go on. And I was like, his career didn't get cut short, but it kind of did. And that was Josh Gordon. That was my answer. I think if he would have if we just wouldn't have been a thing. Not even that. If the NFL would have just been weed
we'll
everything everywhere. And the more you try to ban it, the more it's going to happen. Calm down.
Instead
if that would have been the case, then Josh Gordon would have been an amazing wide receiver in the NFL.
And then fast forward to the NFL,
and they changed the
rule.
Same with Ricky Williams, maybe.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. Instead of punishing him, the NFL should have helped these players. Yeah. Josh Gordon was the best receiver in the league in 2013. He was the best. He had 1,900 receiving yards.
Yeah. He was unbelievable with the Browns and Brandon Whedon or something like that. Derek Anderson, something weird.
Well, enough Josh Gordon talk. That was kind of a random little tangent. But if you guys are Josh Gordon fans out there, I'm sure you like that. Ultimately, Nick, who is Brad Holmes comes out and says, I'm only bringing back 2 of our current free agents, Lions free agents. Who is your top 2 that you're we got to have these 2 guys back no matter what?
Isaiah Buggs and Jamal Williams. Those are the 2 guys I need back. I love Isaiah Buggs. He is huge and impactful and will be a great depth player behind Jalen Carter when we get to draft him at 6. And I still want Isaiah Buggs, and I want to draft Jalen Carter. I do like Deshaun Elliott. He's a great guy to stop the run, a great guy to come up. I do like DJ Shark. He definitely made his presence known when he was healthy at the end of the year. But I think we can kind of replace them a little bit more. Alex Anzalone is the main guy that I'm leaving off right now, who played out of his mind last year, and I am a huge fan of, and I think he gets super underappreciated and undercredited. But let's go find another Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Let's not pay Anzalone.
I went to war for Alex Anzalone on Twitter quite a few times this year, man. I was sticking up for that guy. There was a lot of people hating on him.
Who are your 2 guys?
I got to go with Jamal. I think that's the common one. So I'm going to revert this question back to you in a minute, Nick. Once we get Julius' answer, I'm going to take Jamal out of this because I think he is pretty consensus on everyone would take Jamal as their 1 or 2. There goes my phone again. Out of all the Lions free agents. But for me, if we're taking Jamal out, I am going Kaminsky and Buggs. I think you just got to build through the trenches. We have great outside guys. Both your core brothers are, very hit or miss. It seems like one is good and the other is very bad, and then they flip-flop. So if they could just, kind of sink in on the same page, then we would have something. I know Charles Harris was good a couple of years ago, kind of fell off last year. I'm not sure if – I think he still is under – is he still under contract? You guys know?
Charles
I did,
Harris.
yeah.
He is, yeah. He's
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't see him on the free agency depth chart or whatever, but yeah, I think
He could be a
Harris
cap casualty though.
yeah, that too. I still think he's got a little left in the tank, and ultimately, Aleem at the center, and then Kaminsky, Bugs to be able to rotate in and out. We let go Brockers, so he, although did do a whole lot, it's still a position that depth spot that we let go. So I'm going Bugs and Kaminsky if we're leaving off Jamal Williams. So Julius, I can't say Jamal. What two Lions free agents do you want the most?
Well, I'm gonna be a little contrarian here and say Deshaun Elliott. I wouldn't mind getting re-signed. I feel like when he was healthy last year, he played very well for the Lions defense on that back end. It doesn't hurt to have another guy back there that can provide. And then I'm gonna go to the offensive side of the ball, and I'm gonna go with DJ Shark, because I also believe towards the back end of the season he started to play really good, and that can just continue with Goff next season, and we don't have to go overpay for somebody else or even look anywhere else. So those two guys, but the list is long. Jamal Williams obviously at the top of it. John Kaminsky, Isaiah Bugs. I would like all of those guys back. I don't think it would cost the Lions that much money to bring 75% of them back.
Hey, and big thing about Shark too is what have we learned about Jared Goff in 2 years of him? It takes chemistry. A long time to find a connection with him. A long time. But when you do, good things happen. But it takes a long time. It's almost better to bring Shark back rather than try to find someone else and wait 7 weeks for him to finally find the connection with Jared Goff if he ever does. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with just bringing everyone back. But John Kaminsky, Adam, I would actually go with your two. We're taking Jamal out. I would go with Bugs and Kaminsky because, again, you're right. You do go through the trenches. And both of them are so vital. So vital. I would take those two. And Shark's right up there. Elliott's right up there. Anzalone's right up there. I want them all back, too. Might as well. We had something good brewing. Bring it back and then just add some new pieces to it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I don't think we were broke. I just think we were injured at the beginning of the year, and it was hard. Dan Campbell also had to have a couple of those tough losses. He needed to have that Minnesota Vikings loss. I know that hurt us, and that hurt. That was maybe the reason why we aren't in the playoffs was that loss. But sometimes you take one step backwards to go 5 steps forward, and that's what I think happened. That taught Campbell.
It was such a painful loss where it was like, I'm never making this mistake ever again. I will figure out a different, route to go, different outcome. I will, this isn't going to happen in a more important game. Granted, it turned out to be kind of important, but I'm happy.
Every game in the NFL is important.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm happy, it was a regular season game, because if that happened in a home playoff game after we just won the North and we saw Dan Campbell botch something like that, oh my gosh, it would break the hearts of Lions fans. We'd see Lions fans burning down everything. It would just it would be terrible. But Dan Campbell's not going to do that. He made that mistake once. It seems like he has kind of perfected his system down, especially with Ben Johnson. They got a good chemistry going. I know we lost Deuce Staley, and that's going to be tough, but we got a new guy in Scotty Montgomery, who seems to be a solid dude from Indianapolis, helped out Jonathan Taylor. So I'm pretty confident that it's not going to be a big step back for, the running back group. But all in all, I don't know how we got on this. We were talking free agency. I agree with you, Nick. It's better to have, those losses. Sometimes you have to take one step backwards, take 5 steps forwards. And we took a step backwards, but this year we are taking 5 steps forward, because I don't think there has been a time where the Lions have gone from, a 500, just above 500 to like NFC North favorites, literally. So
I can definitely remember some times when we were.
I can't.
The scary thing is we are all drinking the Kool-Aid right now, but we have all been in this situation at least 2 or 3 different times throughout the Stafford era where it was our year finally. That was it. We were ready. We were poised. We had it all set up. We were ready, and we won 5 games. We won 6
Well,
games. That has
I'm
happened
going to
countless
blame
times.
good old Joe Lombardi on that. We saw what happened with him and Justin Herbert last year with the Chargers, so that went great. He is now with the Broncos, so that's going to be awesome because I'm a huge Javonte Williams, Russell Wilson guy, and hopefully Joe Lombardi doesn't break that because that stinks.
Yeah. Joe Lombardi does not need to be there, but Sean Payton will do wonders for them.
That too, and that's also that. I was like, dang you, Sean Payton, why'd you have to go get your old boy?
Yeah, for real. Joe Lombardi.
But let's transition into some other free agents before we wrap up the show because it's not just the Lions, it's not just the linebackers. There's some other legit players out there. Julius, if we aren't bringing back DJ Chark, he decides to walk. There's some other options. Jacoby Myers, Darius Slayton, Juju Smith-Schuster maybe, Rob Woods, Nelson Aguilar, Matt Collins, and a few others. Any of these names, pop out at you if we don't get Chark back, or would you rather, just address it in the draft with a late round pick?
None of those names really pop out at me as somebody I would want to replace DJ Chark with as the third wide receiver, because really our offense is going to run through Jameson
OBJ
Williams
too,
and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So DJ Chark, if anything, he's going to be like that third guy that can get loose. And I think his chemistry with Goff and the way he played the end of last season is well enough over all those names you named. If the Lions want to look towards the draft instead of re-signing Chark, I'm well to do with that over those names. And I'm good with Chark. I'm good with him. I'm good if we re-sign him, and if we don't, I'm good if we take Quentin Johnston at 18.
Well, the great news about that, if we don't re-sign Chark, you got to think that Goff's two best chemistry connections right now is Amon-Ra and then probably DJ Chark, because Hawkinson's gone, J-Mo hasn't established himself, and the tight ends, he kind of just, it's whatever.
Josh Reynolds would argue with you.
Okay, I'll throw Reynolds in that mix, but
Khalif Raymond would also have a word.
that's okay. Stop trying to mess with my point. Let me get to what I was gonna say. If we don't bring back DJ Chark, it'll allow Goff to essentially force a chemistry with J-Mo where there could be times where he's just there's my boy Goff, or there's my boy Chark, my boy Amon-Ra. I'm passing to them. And it's only J-Mo on the big plays. And it's like, you can't build chemistry on 60-yard touchdowns. I know they're awesome. I know it's the best play in the world, but it doesn't happen, all the time. So yes, that, first reception of his career was a great start, but I need to see more little like touch passes, end arounds, just little quick J-Mo ball catches where he starts to build that chemistry, and I do think it's going to take some time. I think we're going to see a slow start to J-Mo, just like we did with Amon-Ra and I don't know who even Chark. I will say was a slow start. It's just Jared Goff. That's who he is. He has to build a chemistry before he really trusts you, and hopefully, Jameson Williams shows that he's an elite talent like Amon-Ra and earns that trust a little bit quicker because Goff saw what happened when he did. Gain that chemistry. So all in all, if we do retain Chark, if we don't, I think there is some pros and cons either way.
There is no pros to signing any of those free agents you said. That was the most garbage, trash list of wide receivers I've ever.
Jacoby Myers, I would
think about Jacoby Myers, who took 39 games to catch his first touchdown, and he's 6 foot flat and runs like a 4.6. What? Matt Collins, who Derek Carr couldn't throw to. This is terrible. I would rather re-sign Terrell Williams and Brashad Perriman at that point. Like, what is OBJ doing? Is he still on the boat? What is going on? That is terrible. We have to bring Chark back. Golly. That's probably why we're over here freaking the most people we interviewed at the combine. Wide receiver, Quentin Johnston. Antoine Green from North Carolina, Jaden Reed from Michigan State. We're drafting a wide receiver, and I'm telling you guys, it's going to be in the first 2 rounds, and same with linebacker because we interviewed Trenton Simpson, Noah Sewell. We will be getting a linebacker and a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. Like it or not, it's happening. I promise you.
See,
take it to the books.
I'm pulling. Okay. You guys are.
Matt Collins was on his list. Julius, does this do anything for you? Matt Collins?
No, Adam.
Number 3 guys. Not these aren't, our number ones. I mean, hey, Julio Jones is out there too. But I'm kidding. I kid. But actually, I will throw one out who you may agree with. Actually, I'm going to throw one out who you may agree with and one out who you're either going to really
Kenny
agree
Galladay?
with or really hate.
No, I don't want Kenny Galladay.
Kenny Galladay was the second one. He was the one who you really going to agree with or really hate. And Nick, you obviously really hate it. Julius?
Hate it.
It's terrible.
I agree too. I really hate it. But like I said, if Brad Holmes gave him that stamp of approval, I would be all in, and Kenny Galladay would be back to his.
I'd trust Titus Young before I trusted Kenny
Galladay is going to end up in Los Angeles catching balls from the person he started his career.
And that's where he can succeed. That's the only place that he can catch 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Allen Robinson in Los Angeles.
That would be embarrassing for the Rams. That would be terrible.
That would be terrible. Like, what a cool story that would be now. Like,
I'll bet you Kenny Galladay is a Houston Texan. That's my guess where he ends up.
Yeah, I could see that too. All right, but the other, you were close, Nick. Former Lions wide receiver, but not Kenny Galladay. Marvin Jones, Mr. All Reliable. I know he's getting up there in age, but for 1 year?
As a coach.
Honestly. Sign him
as
to
a wide receiver's assistant, I'm all right with that.
What if Dan Campbell went that route? Just like, yeah, well, come and be a wide receiver with us. You're going to play wide receiver. Then just slowly was like, you ever think about coaching these guys?
Instead of playing, why don't you coach them a little bit?
You know what?
Do not bring Marvin Jones back. Do not bring any of these wide receivers. This is the most we're trying. What are we doing here? This is like debating if we think like Andy Isabella can be our wide receiver 3. Like if anything, let's trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Let's go get someone who's gonna make a splash. Like that would be. Can you imagine DeAndre Hopkins, J-Mo, and freaking Amon-Ra St. Brown, and all it takes is a 2nd round pick? That would be amazing.
T. Higgins.
No,
we don't have to go up too much for T. Higgins.
I'm not trading a 1st for T. Higgins.
That would be
I'll trade a 2nd for DeAndre Hopkins any day of the week.
Yeah.
All the PEDs he wants. Come on over.
That would be an interesting one, and that would be kind of real quick before I wrap things up. DeAndre Hopkins, Julius, what are your thoughts on it?
I like it. I like that idea of a 2nd round pick for DeAndre Hopkins to add with Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Mm-hmm. How could you say no to that?
How could you say no?
Would you just want to draft a receiver in the 2nd round and just hope he develops?
No, he would never be Nuke. Yeah, you go get Nuke.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
and he's on the shopping board. He's on the chopping block.
He's within 1 year. So if you guys are thinking, oh, yeah, he's old, he's fall off. No, he's actually not. He's 30 years old, which is within 1 year of Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, and 1 year of the same year, and Devontae Adams, which are all guys that, had stud years last year at 29 or 30. So
am I crazy to think he might be 30, but also have played in the NFL for 11 seasons? Has DeAndre Hopkins played in the league for 11 seasons? That doesn't seem right, but I think that's what I heard. And I didn't know his age was 30 until right now. And I swear I just heard on 97.1 this morning.
He was drafted in 2013, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
This will be his 11th season.
Yeah, this will be his 11th season. Wow, that's crazy.
That's quite crazy to think about. It's quite crazy to think about.
It is. He went to Clemson, correct?
And the crazier thing, if he came to Detroit, Jared Goff would be the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Woo! You think you would say Jared Goff better than Kyler Murray?
I definitely would.
Would you guys?
So. I mean,
I think he's smarter. I don't know if he's a better maybe he's a better quarterback, just not a better athlete. I guess I can see that.
Okay, he's not a better athlete, but he's a better quarterback.
Definitely not a better athlete. Yeah. Right. Kyler.
Maybe not a better gamer either, but better quarterback.
Yeah, definitely not a better COD player for sure.
All right, boys.
How funny was it with Dan Skipper talking about Jared Goff, dude?
That was awesome.
I was like, Trevor Lawrence went to the goddamn fucking house after his playoff win. Like,
anyone who missed the Dan Skipper interview, that was awesome, dude. Just gave us phenomenal stories. Was super, super real and raw with us. Great
could have
guy.
done a whole hour-long episode just recapping that show. You know what I mean? That was great.
Honestly.
I don't mean to prolong this show, but
hey, whoever's still listening, shout out to you guys because you guys are diehards. Thomas favorite. Love the Jake Moody hype. Yes, we need to get some Jake Moody. It does not seem like we're going to be bringing back the money badger, but if we do, it won't be opposed.
Ain't nobody drafting a kicker this year. We ain't drafted him in the 6th or 7th round. Just get him undrafted. He will not be drafted. Jake Moody will not be drafted.
I think I'm like, Rodrigo was a 6th rounder. Houston was a 6th rounder. Like Brad Holmes can get some legit players in the 6th. And if you
would I rather have Jake Moody than Chase Lucas? Probably.
Yeah, So it's like.
But I wouldn't rather have Jake Moody than James Houston. You know what I mean? I'd rather have James.
Exactly. But all in all, thanks for everyone tuning in. This was our kind of, trade talk free agency episode. If you're just tuning in now, rewind.
You missed a great episode.
Yeah. Listen to all Lamar Jackson talk. It was very good. Ultimately, check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues _. Check us out individually at Nick Faber NFL, the 5th top for Julius, and just put Honolulu Blues for myself. But if you're just watching us right now, give us a little subscribe, a little like action, a little comment. Tell us what you want us to hear, what you want us to talk about. We love it all. DM us, any type of content information you guys want us to put out, because we love to hear what the fans have to say. And as always, boys, you know what's coming next? We got the go.